Hello everyone, welcome to the final video before I will be taking a break and heading off to school right tomorrow. It has been a fabulous winter break and it has been great hearing and getting feedback from anybody that has talked with me. It's also been great seeing people that were able to view the whole aspects of what I had to say throughout all of my videos so far. I feel like I have gotten better and I am trying to make them shorter, and I'm fairly happy to say that it has for the most part seemed to go down as far as how long they are, and I think that's a good thing overall because I don't want to babble so much on because I know that it can be fairly time consuming. So I think definitely things are starting to sort of evolve and improve as I go along. And as far as everything else is concerned, I just kind of wanted to address in this video just a little bit about what is to be expected once I return coming back making videos, and then I will briefly end with discussing what's kind of going on within my life that'll probably affect when I will be starting again making videos. But basically I just kind of want to first give you all sort of a rundown of what I was thinking of doing the next time I come back and start making videos, and it'll be the same thing again where I'll be doing a video every single day. Hopefully no computer problems, hopefully I won't have to deal with that anymore, and hopefully I can have a fairly smooth and productive next time around after this break that I have, which is technically not a break because I'll be going into school, but again, it's kind of like I'm taking a break from videos but I'm going back to school, so it's kind of like one of those sort of mixed feelings, I guess you could say, because I really do enjoy making these. I think these are really interesting and I really like to hear people's feedback, and I really love hearing all of these different things come out of people, and it's nice to see that people are viewing it and are interested and appreciate it, and it's been very, very nice, and I just can't say how happy I am, and I feel like I've just grown so much from this whole experience. But nonetheless, let me sort of discuss what I kind of plan to do the next time around once I come back starting to make videos. I think I'll be back August 21st. I just don't know how long I'll be able, or, well, I'll be back July 21st. And I don't know how long I'll be able to go on making videos, but I'll sort of have to see and play by ear because I don't know when my semester next year starts in the fall, so that's kind of up for grabs. But I will try to see if I can get through maybe 5 weeks of making videos. 5 or 6 weeks is really my goal, essentially. I think 6 weeks would be really nice to do. I'm just hoping though that I can do it. But nonetheless, let me briefly discuss how I kind of wanted to structure everything, because I felt like it'd be cool to do a few bit of changes around and sort of mix up some of the stuff that I do on the channel. Now for Mondays, I figured I'd keep the same classic movie Monday. I still think there's a lot of classics that I haven't seen. There's a lot of classics that I haven't reviewed yet, and I would love to get insight into those as well. And I really want to see if I can keep doing that segment, because I think it's very important for people to be aware of films that have come out maybe 10 years ago, or or just maybe even to the point of 50 or 60 years ago, because I think we should all appreciate older films. I think if you are a movie lover, I think you have to kind of find some sort of appreciation for older films if you can, in some way, shape, or form, because it has provided a lot of the foundation for a lot of filmmaking as it's progressed over the years. So I think keeping the Classic Movie Monday segment has really been something that I want to ultimately keep and preserve on this channel, because I do like older films too. I just haven't seen a lot of them. So I think it'll be fairly interesting once I start looking into more of these older films. Once I have time, when I come back from, again, vacation, and I'll kind of explain like why I can't come back until July. But that's basically going to stay the same. Music Talk Tuesdays, I think I'm going to keep that too. I do enjoy talking about music, and I do enjoy picking these random things to discuss about music, and in particular certain songs that I really, really enjoy. Again, I know that some people may not like the song choices that I have, or may not lean so much to the point where they really like it like I do. But nonetheless, I still find myself really enjoying whatever I pick for songs. And I think music is really important and is part of a lot of the creative, is a huge part of the creative mentality. And I personally feel that music can go in various different directions. And I want to sort of keep discussing it, and I still think that it's important to have music within people's lives. I think it really has helped a lot of people through different circumstances, and people can identify, I think, with music fairly well. And I think it's interesting to have sort of a discussion of it, because no one seems to really talk about music so much. It's either you'll see a music video or you'll see the actual song itself, but no one seems to really address what ultimately the song sort of means. Because I mean, most of the time music is fairly interpretive, but there's also some interesting elements that the artists incorporate, and I think it's interesting to talk about. So I think I'm just going to keep that one. That's what. Excuse me. And also, I plan to keep my book review Wednesdays. Now, as to the books that I plan to review, it's really all up in the air at this point, because I don't know if I can get a hold of the books that I want to read yet. But I do have some, excuse me, right here that I think I am definitely going to read. When I am over this in the summer in Europe, which is why I won't be back till July, later July, I'll be reviewing this book, The Lady of the Rivers, and I think this would be a perfect book to start off with, because it's one of those books where I can't really plan out how much I should read each day, because it doesn't have like chapters or parts or anything. So this will definitely be something that I'm going to read over the break when I'm over in Europe. And then when I come back from Europe, I will definitely look into this book and talk about it. And I think books are really important, and a lot of movies come from books. And a lot of creativity comes out of books too. And even some music maybe even comes from inspiration dealing with books, through inspiration dealing with books. And I think it's just important to have as part of my channel. So I'm definitely going to review this one. It should be interesting. It's a synopsis sort of is that it's about a duchess, and this is, I think, pre Henry the Seventh or Sixth, and so it's sort of this whole history that sort of leads up to Henry, sort of the Seventh, and I believe it was Henry the Seventh that was the one who was kind of kooky with his wives and stuff. So it's kind of interesting to look a little bit further back into history, and in particular it deals with this Duchess of Bedford, and her name is Jacquietta. I don't know if that's meant to be a French name, but for the most part, she's sort of the forefront of the book, and once I start reading it, I can get more of a sense of what it's really about ultimately, because the back, although it does give an explanation, it's fairly sort of history-oriented and doesn't really explain so much the characters, just sort of the plot. But it'll be definitely interesting to talk more about it, especially after I read it. And the second book that I will try to discuss is Ceremony, which is actually a book that my English teacher could not get to. He was unable to get to this book, and so I ended up being stuck with it. So I think it sounds interesting. This is like a Native American perspective book, and sort of discusses events within, I think it's a she, or her life. But I think that'll be interesting to discuss. There are some other books that I'm fairly looking into to see if I can get, like War and Peace I wanted to read, and Anna Karenina, I think so, and that's by the same author. Anna Karenina and War and Peace are the same guy, the same Russian author. And I'm trying to think of what else. I was thinking of trying to get The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Silver Lining Playbook, because they're all books. I think it's interesting to actually get the books that movies were based on and actually look at them too. Kind of like what I did with Revolutionary Road and Atonement. But we'll sort of see what happens. It'll just depend on what books I can find, and what books I find interesting. But for the most part, these are the two that I'm definitely going to get into. It's just, I don't know what other books ultimately I'll get into, but definitely those two, for starters. Now, I was thinking for Thursday, I really, to be honest, I haven't really seen so many, like, bad movies. So it's kind of hard for me to ultimately continue the what I would have done segment, because literally all the ones that I've talked about were really the only ones that I've heard like major criticisms on, and then that I could see, yeah, I totally understand that this could be improved and this could be better, and this is what I would have done. But I don't really know if there's anything else that I could really do with it, because I haven't really seen any other movies where I go, oh, I would completely change it, you know, I would completely change it to the point of, where it's not even necessarily the way it was structured beforehand. Because again, within all of those videos, I discussed clearly that these are the aspects that I would have had done differently. But it seems like with a lot of the movies that I've watched, I really haven't gone, yeah, that really needs to be changed, or yeah, that really needs to go somewhere else. But that's just me personally. So I was thinking, and this is just an idea, and I'm more than open to anybody's ideas with this, and this will be Thursdays, is to do a bad movie review, where I will intentionally watch a really bad movie. Now, there are bad movies out there. You can find them. A lot of bad movies actually are going on Sci-Fi now, like Sci-Fi, the channel, not science fiction, but sci-fi, like SYFY. They do a lot of really, they put a lot of bad movies up, Um, just randomly, they'll just put up some, almost just intentional. I wouldn't say intentionally bad, but it's almost to the point where it's just a laughably bad, and you almost wonder if they intentionally just decided, yep, we're gonna put this movie up. But they're basically almost direct-to-video kinds of films. And I was thinking of really looking into those and seeing if I could just review them and just kind of tell you how insanely bad they are, and just ramble on, cause I have seen them, or just seen parts of them, and I have to say that some of them just can be really, they're painful. They're painful to watch. But at the same time, I think it'd be interesting to see if I can find ones that are so bad it's good, or find ones where you can maybe get some entertainment value out of it, and then kind of discuss maybe the ones that I feel are just so bad that it's just not worth your time at all. But I think it would be interesting to look into these films because they're almost like just a laughing stock, of Hollywood and such. They're meant to sort of be bad. It's kind of like the movies are built up to fail, ultimately. So yeah, I was thinking that would be fairly interesting to do, and see if I can pull something from that. But I'm more than happy and open to hearing anybody's ideas. But I think that's kind of what I wanted to do with Thursdays instead of doing the what I would have done segment, because I think that segment's really run its course. I really think the only 4 that I could really talk about were those particular ones: Avatar, Twilight, Spider-Man, and the Star Wars prequels. But I mean, again, if anybody's open to hearing my ideas, wants to have me hear your ideas, I'd be more than happy to hear them. But regardless, I think that would be an interesting thing to do, and I can see like how many cliches and how many things they literally throw at you. But I think that would definitely be an interesting thing to do, where I just didn't review it intentionally, or it's meant to be a bad movie. Now, that's that segment. And then I was thinking of, and yes, I'm going to keep the Disney versus Original Work Fridays. There's still more. Still got more to go through. The interesting thing, though, is that I was able to find a good chunk that were based on original works. Hunchback of Notre Dame will be this first one up, and it's it's probably going to be fairly difficult for me to explain everything, but I'm going to try to apply as much as I can with the Disney version, because it does say loosely, but I still think even loosely counts for me. I'm still going to look into it because, again, it does have similar characters and it does have the similar plot line. For the most part, it's just a lot of details that are different, and I did read the Victor Hugo novel. It's just been a while, so I'll probably have to look up some more research with that, but I think it's definitely something to look into, and especially dealing with themes, because I think Disney's themes are a little bit different than the books, but it does sound really interesting, and I definitely want to do that. So Hunchback will be the first one. I can't do Lion King, because it's not based off anything. It's just inspired by various works like Hamlet, Macbeth, and actually biblical tales, which I thought was interesting, like Moses and stuff. All kind of is where Lion King is, and I feel like that it's not trying to go off an original source material. It's just taking inspiration from various works and composing it and making it into a unique story. So yeah, I just could not do that one. Can't do Pocahontas either, because it's based on legends and such, but it's not really based off of original source material. So that one I kind of just have to skip. I apologize, but that one's just gonna not go. So ultimately what ends up happening after Pocahontas is Hunchback. So I'll be discussing Hunchback, and then the next work that I'll be discussing that's actually based off of an original source material is Mulan. Basically it's more of a poem and sort of the legend of Hua Mulan, or I can't remember the exact original name, but that will be another one where I'm going to look into. Tarzan is based off of a book as well, so I'm definitely going to be looking into that one. Various differences, I'm sure, from what I've heard of. Treasure Planet is actually based upon Treasure Island, and again it says sort of loosely, and again, yes, it's taking place during sci-fi, or it's taking place during sort of a sci-fi-ish type setting, but at the same time I still think it'd be interesting to look into and see if I can pull something from it and try to ultimately see what I can find. And I think it is considered still an adaptation of Treasure Island, and I think there have been various adaptations that have been done by it, so I think this is just one that's worth looking into. And I still liked Treasure Planet, even though I know we're sort of getting into the sort of decline within the Renaissance here as I'm going through these, but basically that's that. Now, Chicken Little and Meet the Robinsons, whether or not you like or dislike those films, are actually based on original source materials. But they're a lot shorter. They're just like shorter tales, really. So I think what I wanted to do was just combine those two and just do them together and get them over with. Because they're not really my favorite ones at all, really. But I still think they're worth looking into because they are based on original works, and I think that some of the ideas in there might be interesting. I just need to look into it more, but I think I'm going to end up combining them because the source materials I think are fairly short and simple, so there's not really a whole lot to compare and contrast, but I think together they make an interesting take because they are kind of the they're kind of both the ones that are kind of not really the most well praised among Disney, but at the same time they're still Disney works and they're still part of the whole Disney-like journey as I'm going through here, all of these. Now, Princess and the Frog is based on an original source material. So definitely going to do that one, and it is loosely again. There's a lot of looseness. I think the one that's really follows the closest is probably going to be Mulan and Tarzan, and maybe Hunchback. Actually, the first three that I'm reviewing. But that'll be that Princess and the Frog, which is actually the original tale is called The Frog Prince or something like that. But it's also important to note that I probably will end on Princess and the Frog for the second time that for the time that I'm going to be coming back, because I probably won't have time to do Tangled. But once winter time comes again, I will definitely consider it. And I also think it'd be interesting to do Tangled along with Winnie the Pooh, which again, they do base themselves off source materials too. And then Frozen. And Frozen actually comes out the 27th. And Frozen is actually based on an original source material, the Snow Queen, and that's actually sort of like a fairy tale, and that's actually by Hans Christian Andersen. So that would be interesting to, I think, definitely look into. So I'm definitely going to see if I can put in those three during winter break. And maybe I would have to put Princess and the Frog within winter break. I'm not sure. It'll all just depend on how much time I have to do all of these Disney versus original works. But it'll definitely be interesting. I'm really excited because we're sort of reaching, I think, Hunchback and Mulan sort of go into this sort of different realm, I think, because they were the ones that really came after the big Renaissance movies. So I think we're entering a different sort of era within Disney. So this will definitely be an interesting look into how sort of Disney sort of changed and became something else as it was trying to redefine itself after these big Renaissance hits. So that'll be that. I was thinking for Saturdays, instead of just doing a regular film, I'll just go back to doing underrated ones, because I still think that there's still some underrated ones that I can look into and ultimately present those to the forefront. And then on Sundays, it'll again be the same thing as always, random video, just talking about random stuff. Just complete and sheer randomness. But I think that's ultimately what I intend to have in store for this coming summer break. Now, I'm going to Europe from May, right when I get out, like literally 4 days after I get out of school. I'll be going off to Europe for traveling, for sort of studying abroad. It's like a summer program, and I'll be going then, and I won't be coming back until later on July. So when I come back later on in July, that's when I'll be starting, and I hope to be starting on the 21st. I'm hoping that I can start then and just do all of what I've intended to have planned. But I'm more than happy to hear anybody out with their suggestions or ideas. I think it'll definitely be an interesting summer to look into, and an interesting take into all these different things that I have in store. But for the most part, a lot of it's going to, again, sort of stay the same. There's just going to be some different things that happen within the week, which I think is interesting, and I think it's nice to sort of mix it up a bit. You know, just don't do everything the same. And I think it's nice to even go back to some things that I've done before, like underrated films, and sort of discuss them for a bit. And then still keep some stuff the same, and then still have some new things come up. So it'll be interesting. I'll just have to see what ends up happening. But I think really that's all you all need to know. And I definitely want to discuss my trip to Europe when I come back, which I will, because I'd be more than happy to share the experiences and tell people about basically what the program was and what we did and yada yada. But yeah, I think that's really all that I can say. This has been a amazing winter break. It's been so nice getting from so many people, like this little community that I have of people talking and saying things and watching and engaging and doing things, and I feel like it's been very helpful. When I started making videos, I was literally scared to death that it would just be an overly critical thing where people would just, I don't know, people would just say something or just say something in a more aggressive way, but I'm so surprised at how nice and how welcoming and sweet this whole community has been, both on That Guy with the Glasses as well as on YouTube. It's been so nice to just have this sort of place to come. It almost feels like I'm escaping the world that's my world that's not part of the internet, and then going into that world that is part of the internet, and sort of just openly expressing how maybe I feel about something, or openly discussing something. And it's been interesting, and I hope that it really brings value to people. I hope that it gets better over time, and I feel like that a lot of things have grown, and I just want to thank everybody for their support, and it really does mean a lot. It does mean something, and I just want everybody to know that it means something to me, and it does mean a lot, and it's something that I appreciate very much. And I really am excited for what's going to happen, and I'm really excited for the different things that I can discuss, and I'm really interested to see what happens, and I know that it'll be great. But it is going to be a while. I mean, I'm going to be gone for, like, instead of 4 months, it'll probably be 6. So yeah, half a year I won't be here. I won't be making videos. I'll just be occasionally coming on YouTube and maybe liking a video or watching videos, but I don't have the energy to make them. But definitely once I get back from vacation, I will have time to make them, and I'll have the energy, and I feel like I'll be able to really dive into what I want to dive into, and it's sort of sad that it's ending for now, because it is going to be a long while until I start making them again. But I really do enjoy them. I really want to thank everybody again. I know I probably said thank you way too much, but the thank yous are really helpful and fairly sweet. And I just want to say openly that my channel has not made any money at all from what I've checked at all. So I don't know if you have to, I don't know how many views you have to get until you start making some money. But either way, I'm still going to have the ads up because I want to see if I can get some money so I can give it to charity. And again, if some of you haven't heard, the whole idea that I had for having ads when YouTube made me a partner was to give the money to charity, and I suggested in the way beginning of my update video that if anybody has any suggestions on a charity, that I'd be more than happy to contribute. But I just want to let everybody know that so far there's not been anything earned from it. But regardless, whether or not I make or don't make money, that's not why I make videos. I make videos because I want to express myself, and this is kind of, I think, a nice way of expressing myself. And I enjoy doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be uploading them and I wouldn't be sharing them, because I think if you are not doing something that you enjoy doing, then there's no point in doing it. There's no point wasting your time. But I think ultimately that's all I can really say. Again, any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But until 6 months, everybody, thank you all so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful next 6 months, and I hope that this new year of 2013 will be an awesome one. But until then, take care. Bye-bye. Aufwiedersehen.